Hey, everybody! Everybody, we're here with Fresh Off the Show, the unofficial live Fresh Off the Boat after show. What's up? I'm Phil.
And I'm Jenny.
We are joined today by super special guests. We have in the house, we have executive producer and showrunner Nahnatchka Khan.
Yay!
We also have tonight's special guest star, Rex Lee.
Yay! Oh, I'm trying to hold back from pawing them, is what I'm saying right now. What was our episode called tonight?
So tonight's episode was called Blind Spot.
Yes.
We just came from a live event at the Japanese American National Museum in Little Tokyo, so that's why we're running a little bit late. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for sticking with us and checking us out here. We are so we're coming off this like really fun panel that just happened, but we're bringing the fun now to the internet, to the masses.
We're not even going to say how many people are actually watching live right now. The masses.
The masses, you know.
Well, all of our parents.
Yeah, absolutely. All our parents are tuning in. It's really fun.
We got that.
All right, so let's just talk about the episode, because I'm kind of like want to get into it. So in this episode, we find out that Jessica's college ex-boyfriend is coming to visit and stay with them, and
Oscar Chow,
played by Mr. Rex Lee.
Yes.
You did a fantastic job, by the way.
Thank you. Yes.
But in the episode, Jessica is very concerned that Lewis does not feel, any kind of jealousy that her ex-boyfriend is coming to town, and Lewis obviously is very aware of the fact that Oscar is gay. Yeah. But Jessica is not.
And we learned that Jessica's gaydar is broken.
Yes.
Right.
So I want to know, first of all, like, what was sort of like the seed of this episode for, like, what was the idea that brought about, like, hey, let's do this thing where Jessica has broken gaydar?
Well, yeah. So like I was saying in the thing, like we had a reference to Oscar Chow in the pilot that we wound up cutting for time, where Jessica is, it's obvious that she doesn't know that her ex-boyfriend was gay. And then that was something that sort of stuck with us. And then we got to pick up for the season, and it sort of expanded once, the writers and I started talking about the fact that it's funny if she doesn't know anyone's gay. Yeah. And that's her blind spot. She just can't tell. So we set it up in an earlier episode where she sells a house to a gay couple and she thinks they're best friends. And we knew that we wanted to sort of set the table for the Oscar Chow visit and to really shine a light on the fact that, that's her blind spot. Like she can't tell, her gaydar is broken. And then we wanted to give Lewis something equal. And in the episode, you reveal that his love-dar is broken. Like he can't tell when people are into him. So we thought that would make a funny sort of triangle as we brought Oscar in.
Yeah, and which, no spoiler, because you've seen the episode already, turns out Oscar had a thing for Lewis. And so, therefore it all comes together.
Oscar thought they were dating.
That's right. Yeah, not just
he was dating him. He was my boyfriend.
He was his boyfriend.
Which is a total, which is it innovates on the as you were saying in the panel earlier, the romantic comedy sort of love triangle idea.
Right.
And personally, for me, as someone who, when I think about sort of gayness in like my Taiwanese immigrant family, it's sexuality is complete denial and non-existent. So to even kind of approach the idea around gayness, I think to me it makes actually total sense that Jessica might have complete, gaydar broken. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing that for me, it totally struck me when I heard the premise of the episode. I was like, I speak from experience in my family. You want to call it denial, broken gaydar, or blind spot. I'm like, that totally exists in Asian immigrant families. It actually really makes sense. Like, I don't know. Was that something you guys were also trying to explore? I mean, I don't think that was explicit in the thing, but I was like, oh, Jessica is so many people I know.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think a lot of people, like, growing up too, they kept like gay relationships on the DL. David Smithyman, who wrote the episode, who's also gay, he was saying that he had an uncle who like lived with his tennis coach for like 10 years, and he didn't even play tennis. So it's like, but it was like, oh, and this is Nathan, my tennis coach, and he's at Thanksgiving. So it's like weird, but it's unspoken. Like you just don't go there. No, there you go.
You have an Uncle Jimmy.
He's a ballroom dancer.
Aw.
That's Melvin. You just outed your Uncle Jimmy.
I know. Is
that
okay? Is that okay? We just said it's Melvin.
Everybody's got an Uncle Jimmy somewhere.
Yeah, there's an Uncle Jimmy. There's an Uncle Jimmy. Yeah, so if you have any questions for us, feel free to use the hashtag #FreshOffTheShow, as you can see on our lovely screen. This is the way that you can talk to us. We have our producer who's going to cull through everything. And by the way, while we're at it, we just want to introduce the Asian snacks of the evening. This week's show is lychee gummy candy and matcha pocky. Just saying.
We're not getting any money for these endorsements.
No money.
We just like this stuff. Okay?
No money. We'd like to offer it as good Asian households would to our guests. Any one of these, feel free to taste it.
Thank
you. Enjoy pocky.
Can I ask? When I heard the premise of the episode, and I heard that Rex was guest starring in it, I was like, there is no other guy who can play Oscar. Can you talk about, first of all, your reaction to? You touched upon this in the panel before, but like your reaction to Fresh Off the Boat in general, but also like approaching this role, coming in reading the script and just like and being this role,
Well, the first thing I need to point out is I'm not the only gay Asian actor in town. So,
but you were my favorite.
Well, my point is when Nahnatchka and her people contact me, I feel pretty good that they didn't call someone else first. So what I said in the panel, which I will say again, is, I read the trades occasionally, and I knew that this show existed, and I was really happy for Randall, and I hadn't met Constance or the boys yet. Interestingly, I know Lucille from like my days of casting 5 million years ago. But anyway,
she plays grandma.
Yeah.
Oh.
But so I was really happy that this show existed in the universe. And maybe, there was like a dream that someday I could be on Fresh Off the Boat. And then, as time went on, finally my people came to me and they said, oh, they want you for this episode. Will you read it? And I said, yeah, I'll read it. And in my mind, I thought, this doesn't even have to be any good. And I'll say yes. But it was so good. It was so funny. And Nahnatchka can talk more about this, but I just was really impressed by how it told a story that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
And that was something, we knew from the beginning when we first started talking about bringing in Oscar Chow that we wanted Rex to do it. And we just, we were like hoping that it would work out with his schedule and everything like that. And, casting people like to keep you on your toes. Like, we don't know, Rex is blowing up, so he might not be around. So we were really happy when he wanted to do it. And yeah, I think that sort of helped us flesh out the character, knowing, having him in our head. And then also knowing that we wanted to sort of tell this kind of different love triangle story, and a spin on the sort of romantic comedy version of,
Yeah. There's also this element, we talk about this a lot on this show.
Yeah.
Because this is an Asian American family sitcom, this idea of rep sweats and seeing yourself represented on screen. It's like exciting, but also comes with a little bit of like anxiety, you get the sweats. On this, in this episode, you're also, when I heard we're dealing with LGBT theme, there's an element of that. Yeah. It adds another element of, there's another element of the rep sweat, the double rep sweats.
Double rep sweats.
I wonder if that was at all in your mind approaching this episode, or was it just like, let's just try to find a funny story.
But before you answer that, have you heard the rep sweats before?
No.
Oh,
me neither.
We coined
We coined the term.
Oh, okay.
Trademarked.
Okay, now answer the question.
Okay. No, it's weird.
It's a thing.
It's weird I haven't, because I've seen every episode of your show. It's weird. I just spaced.
It's a term we use to describe our feelings around the anticipation of Fresh Off the Boat.
Rep sweats, it's a thing.
Representational anxiety, just saying. It's
No, I think that whenever you're trying to, it goes both ways. Like we were talking earlier, it's like you have to decide what's important for you and what your priority is. Yeah. And sometimes you're going to tell stories that, rep sweats are minimal. And sometimes you're going to tell stories that, you're bringing in characters that don't have representation on television. Yeah. So it's more important for us to have characters like Oscar Chow coming in and Philip Goldstein in an earlier episode and, talk about what these different characters mean and have people, the fact that they're on television and they're fully dimensional, they're not just the butt of the joke or one gag thing and they're gone. It's like, these are real characters that inhabit this world. It's meaningful for us. So, I think that sort of outweighs any anxiety, I guess.
But I think it speaks to the discussion earlier in our community conversation about sometimes even if, because you explained, someone asked, okay, Oscar's character exhibits very, very sort of stereotypically gay sort of whatever signifiers, right? And what you were saying is well, that was used as a part of the story to show that that Jessica had a broken gaydar, and in fact he was so probably clearly gay that she was like, it's really funny that she doesn't get it. And that's like a story perspective. And I feel like sometimes when we watch as just like everyday people and we have this anxiety around representation, even if you explain the complete rationale around that the joke isn't the fact that he's gay, but that it's on her that she doesn't recognize that he's gay.
Right.
People still get that feeling of like, oh, but you're still portraying like a, stereotypical whatever. And I just, it's just, I appreciate what I just want to offer that. I appreciated the sort of explanation from inside the writer's room around how to build that kind of comedy.
Cool. And I loved Rex's response to that too, where it's like, you were saying, well, you want to say it, but like.
No, you should say it. You'll say it better than I will anyway.
What did he say? Yeah.
No, but you were saying how you approach it, because you are a gay man, you are not thinking about how do I play a gay man. You're thinking, how do I play Oscar Chow?
Exactly.
And how do I fit into this scene? How do I relate to these characters? And I think you said you're not worried about what to do with your hands.
Right.
And I love that. I think that's exactly the way that, David Smithyman and I and the rest of the writers think of all these characters too. It's not like, okay, how do we get a gay man in here? It's like Oscar Chow is gay. He's comfortable in who he is. He's auditioning for Aladdin on Ice, and he doesn't make apologies for who he is, and he owns it. And it's on Jessica because she doesn't see it.
Yeah.
And that's where the humor comes from. That's where the comedy in the scene comes from, and all that stuff. So.
And I think what I didn't say in the conversation before is that to the extent that my performance ended up with whatever gestures that people think of as stereotypically gay, the reason I ended up there is because I was handed this, rich, well-written character. And I said to myself, this character has style and panache and flair. So I'm playing style and panache and flair, which is not a gay thing necessarily. Although, so my point is, I wasn't, anything I did with my hands wasn't because I was gay. It was because I was fabulous.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Switching gears a little bit, I want to just shout out that Ian Chen, he's watching right now.
Hi, Ian.
What's up, Ian?
She's a regular viewer. He's a regular viewer.
Yes, he is. But I want to also use that to talk about, can we talk about the kids
in this episode? God.
Can we talk about
science
fair and chicken pox?
Oh my God. I mean, can we just establish that using the trope of like the horror film, monster creeping up music was so amazing because it's such a contrast to little Ian's face.
He's like, oh, that kid can be creepy if he really wants to.
I know. It was so great. And I have to give a shout out to our editor, Jeremy Cohen.
Who's here.
He edited this episode, and he was really instrumental in all the music that we used, especially all that horror movie stuff. So good.
I mean,
he's behind the scenes.
The kids steal every episode. They're such scene stealers, but this one, you gave them a lot to do.
Yeah.
It was so awesome. I mean,
honestly though, like it's because the kids can handle it. When you start a series, you just don't know. It's long, it's grueling, and you don't know. Can these kids do it? And you write for them, and then they knock it out of the park. Then you write a little more, and they kill it, and then you write more and more. So now, this being episode 10. It was like, let's do it. Let's give them their, it's a free for all for these guys because they're so funny.
It was like their show for a few scenes, it was like, oh, okay, this is their show. Like, this is their dynamic.
And it's funny too, again, like the writers and I were constructing it. It's like, it's fun to have two triangles happening, one between the parents and one between the kids. And also the triangle is the symbol for gay people.
Yes. Can we also reference the fact that Erin O'Brien, who's one of the panelists, she's in here, and she had presented a queer theory of Fresh Off the Boat for us, and I just love that.
That was awesome.
I'm gonna start seeing all of the queer things from now on for the rest of the episodes. It's hard to understand, right?
You unlock.
You unlock the dock.
So yes, I loved it.
Let me see here. I want to ask a question from. Can we talk about? D Chang wants to know, when can we find out about renewal? What do we need to bug? Who do we need to bug to make sure it happens?
I mean, fresh off ABC. What do you think, Melvin? Where should they
tweet at them?
At ABC.
ABC
Network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tweet ABC. Tweet the. Yeah.
Yeah. Fresh off the boat forever.
Yeah. Or
Renew FOTV. Sure.
Yeah.
Are we deciding? Okay, let's all decide in the room. Renew. Okay.
Renew FOTV.
Yeah, renew FOTV.
Yay.
Sounds good. We said it. It begins.
Could I mention a moment that did make me cringe a little? Can I just confess? Brown face.
Oh, yeah.
I had a little moment where I was like, oh no. Is he brown facing Aladdin as an Asian guy? Asian guy? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, I try to have solidarity with my fellow South Asian people and Middle Easterners, but he's playing this brown face right now. Oh no.
All kinds of people can play Aladdin.
That's true.
He's just real
That's
tan.
true.
Oscar Chow just has a lot of bronzer.
What's that?
Aladdin is originally Chinese.
What?
The original Arabian Once 1,000 Nights. Aladdin is from China.
Shut up.
No, it's not.
That's true.
Yes, girl. Yes.
I did not know this.
Yes, girl. Yes.
Naomi's our resident, like, Turkey, Ottoman Empire, Middle East history expert. What?
Bring it, girl.
But for a second I did. I was like, ah.
I mean, I would argue. Look, I'm not to slam the parent company or anything, but I would argue that the movie Aladdin is like. There's a whole lot of stuff going on that's problematic.
From the original parent company, Aladdin.
To me, it was just a lot of bronzer.
Yes,
it was just
bronzer.
It's Orlando.
It's Orlando.
He's like trying to get out there in the sun. He
Yeah.
probably felt like he was a little pale in the mirror.
Both Disney properties. Oh, that's right. You had to get it approved, right? That's amazing. But that's good to know. I didn't know that Aladdin was Chinese. What? Undercover Chinese? How many Aladdins were queer? True.
No.
They're all queer. They're all queer.
Yeah.
We've
They
got
had a genie. Come on.
Yeah.
we've got Keiko Agena tweeting in with what excites you most about the future with regards to the show. I mean, well, in general, I mean,
It could be your
future in
future.
general, like
I mean, season 2, that would be amazing. The idea that we get to tell more stories for these characters, and there's so many more that we've got in our writers' room. We've got a document that we just, when we closed up for the season, we were like, all right, we hope we get to come back because we have so many more stories to tell, and we feel like we've just started. So that's really what is exciting.
Can I just say, I mean, I'm so hopeful for a season 2. I want it to happen. I want you guys to go to season 10, whatever. But I mean, I will say, like, if season 2 doesn't happen, and you just have these 13 episodes as a document of like this thing happening, I feel like this was an accomplishment, like a creative win in a lot of ways that I feel like is just, I feel very like something just. We witnessed something really special, I don't know. I mean, of course, I want it to go on forever, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel so good about just these first 10 episodes, at least, that I've seen, right? I feel like you guys have really set out to do something awesome, and you outdid yourself,
That's awesome. I'm glad you feel that way. Like, we're very proud of the episodes. The next 3 are incredible. We have an amazing finale. Because, you don't know how many chances you're going to get. So we're thinking of that. Okay, maybe the response has been so amazing and so overwhelmingly positive, but you don't know that. We finished shooting before we started airing. So for us, it's like episode 13, it doesn't wrap up everything, but we wanted it to be satisfying in case we didn't have a chance to tell more stories. So, we looked at every single character that we've introduced in the world, and we wanted to go through every single one, even the smaller, the next door neighbors, the principal at school, and we wanted to hit everybody in that final episode in a way that felt satisfying to the viewers. Like, if this is it, then this is it. But it also leaves the door open for, potential more. So we'll see.
I mean, is it too soon to ask if there are any characters that may have been in the world of the original book that you might want to bring into the second season that we haven't seen yet?
Well, I think in that section of the book, so we had, the Cattleman's Ranch, we had Mitch.
Yeah. I
think that's really... We had the cousin, we talked about the cousin a little. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'd have to go back and look. I'm not sure. I think now it's more about like the characters that we've established in the show.
Yeah.
were Honey and Marvin and Nicole, and really playing that, like Nicole and Eddie's relationship is so great.
Yeah.
What's that going to be like? Yeah.
Wow. If you didn't catch that, we're laughing at Hudson Yang's dad, excited about his little boy fictitiously getting some.
Yeah.
Wow. He is now saying that he's living vicariously through Hudson's life. We just want to make sure it's on the record for YouTube.
Shout out, Jeff. Shout out to you, Jeff. Shout out to Jeff Yang.
So, Jeff, if anything goes down with Hudson in his teenage years, he's going to point to this video and be like, Dad is encouraging me.
Yeah.
Got weird a little second.
I'm Randall Park, right? I'm like...
Yeah, you're Randall Park. Do we have any questions in the audience here? Our fabulous live studio audience. We actually have, the editor. We have a producer. We have our principal, David. What's your last name? Goldman. David Goldman, who plays the principal.
Principal Hunter. Who you might remember from the Philip Goldstein episode where he was uncomfortable talking to his assistant, Shauna. Yeah.
We enjoyed the Pacific Rim Club, though. We're like, we should do a Fresh.
I almost printed up T-shirts to bring.
Yeah, we wanted T-shirts.
Yeah. You guys, they need followers.
Well, we want T-shirts. We just think we mentioned this last time, but Melvin, there's a huge merchandising opportunity that you guys are missing. Is all I'm saying.
I want to see a keychain that says "Get Rich" in Chinese.
Get rich in Chinese. We want a never, always there bear. I mean,
yes,
always there bear.
Pacific Rim Club T-shirts.
Pacific Rim Club T-shirts.
Jessica's shirt. That's it. No means no.
Oh, no means no shirt. The rape bunny, maybe.
Yeah. We need all that. So we have. Well, we saw that somebody was selling T-shirts that said
CLC.
Yeah.
The CLC logo.
Yeah, unauthorized CLC T-shirts are coming out.
I'm telling you, ABC needs to get on that.
I'm just saying,
the store.
I
would buy all that stuff.
And now we can have ones that's like, I dated Oscar Chow.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait. Is it CHU or is it CHAU or CHOW? CHOW.
And it's like anybody, unisex, anybody can wear it,
Exactly, men, women.
We have a question from Marvin. He says, how many times did Randall have to film that spit take?
That's a great question. I think he did it like 4 times, right, Jeremy?
And that was real common.
We were saying we were going to just do a run of all the spit takes.
Yeah, and that was real coffee,
that
right?
was real coffee.
He was
That smelled like coffee.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of like little quick snippets, how about Wham?
That's going like because most of the show is like like deep 90s nostalgia, but that was going like
their childhood.
That was
80s.
Next era.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh my god! And I did can I just say all I saw in that like 2-second snippet of his Wham outfit was Randall's hairy lower belly button. Just right here, just like hair.
Yeah. He looked in the mirror. He was like, "This is good. I feel good about this."
It was amazing. Oh, I need to screenshot that.
I'm not attracted to Randall, but because Oscar is in love with Lewis, I really had to access what I find attractive about Randall. And what was great about that was like that shirt was just mesh. So I was like, okay, Randall. I could see everything. I could see Randall's pecs. I could see, his flat tummy. I was like, okay,
wow,
I could do this.
Wow. Insight into the acting process.
Your look was fantastic in that picture. Really
I have pictures on my phone of me wearing that wig. I love it.
Can someone in internet land please share the screenshot of that image? I really want to take more time to look at all the details. I really do.
Pinpoint everything, all the waves of the hair.
All the period specific details.
I was wondering if the going back to the kids and their science projects, Emery's volcano.
Yeah.
Is that like every time I see a volcano, I can only think of one thing, which is the Brady Bunch volcano episode.
Oh my God.
Is that an homage to that, or is it just kids make volcanoes and shit?
Yeah, I think it was just because we knew we had that we knew that Evan was going to throw shade at his project, so we wanted it to be something that kids typically make, and he had that potato battery joke ready to go.
Only the nerds laughed at.
I noticed that there was.
No, girl, you're a nerd. You're a nerd. Okay, so
that's my girl back there. You need to come up here. Like, what is happening? No, but yeah, it was just sort of wanting to, get the typical thing. So also Evan can unveil his big unlocking the
fancy
dock.
one.
Yeah, fancy one, which was fun.
I do love. I mean, this episode particularly did a very good job of contrasting the differences between Eddie and then his narc-ass little brothers. I mean, like
stitches.
Because if it was just like Evan and Emery alone, it'd be like, oh, the science nerd, like the Asian science nerd. But like Eddie is such a lazy ass, slacker. You know what I mean?
He brings out his football.
Yeah, I love that contrast. Of this guy who's just like, this guy. If you look at him, he's like, this guy's not gonna amount to anything. And then, and this kid can make something that you take Dr. Pepper and you can, all the elements of
are separated.
Yeah.
I have to say though, in terms of being selfish, I do see myself in little Emery as a little overachiever.
Yeah, you are. I know enough about this girl.
I do relate to Emery. Oh, okay. We have a question, Naomi.
I do have to say I really appreciate the approach to the science fair in this episode because usually it was funny that it wasn't Jessica Lewis saying you must succeed at science fair. It was actually approaching this kind of model minority overachiever, not necessarily in the stereotypical way. So I found that really entertaining to see. It was actually them. It was all I guess self-initiated versus parents kind of harping on them, and then that scene, of course, where Evan doesn't get to go to the science fair, and Jessica says no science fair in that book. I thought that was great.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Did we catch that on the audio? Yeah, that they were internally motivated, that the kids were, right? Instead of Tiger Mom going, you do good.
And motivated by pizza.
Yes.
I mean,
wait a second. The pizza, there's also visually, it's very symmetrical with the chicken pox. I just noticed. There's literary themes.
I mean, thinking back, I realized you could get kids to do anything with the lure of a pizza party back in the day.
Yeah, it's so true. And it also goes to the sort of that dual triangle thing that we were talking about earlier. The kids have their own story. Like they just want to beat each other. And sometimes you just want to be better than your brother or be better than your sister or whatever. And you don't really need much more motivation than that. And so we wanted to let that story be self-contained.
I gotta ask about the, you guys, we all watched it together earlier with a giant crowd of like 100+ people.
Yeah.
Do you get to watch it? I imagine you don't get too many times to watch it with a big audience. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, what's that like for you? And one thing I noticed is that when I watch it, I've only watched it with the giant group, and which is like I don't watch television normally like that. I tend to miss jokes because people are laughing so hard and follow up lines.
Well, that's why you should DVR it and go home
and
watch it.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do.
I run it on Hulu Plus nonstop.
Yeah. I'm curious what your reaction is. I mean, obviously you write it for people to watch it in front of their tubes, but I'm just, what's it like for you to watch it in front of a crowd?
I mean, it's really satisfying, because that it's not designed to be watched. It's not a theatrical release, so people will watch on their whatever, laptops or TVs or iPads, and that they'll catch more things. But it's great. I mean, if that's the if my thing is that people are missing jokes because other people are laughing too hard or they're laughing too hard, like I feel pretty good. Like I would be real bummed if you heard every single word and there was no laughs. Like no laughs. I'm like, that was clear though, right? You guys heard everything. It came right through, hit you in the ear.
All right. Anyone else in the room? Keep going.
So how are, as in the writers' room, how do you guys actually pick the stories? Because this is the first time we're actually get to explore these stories, and I'm sure there's so many experiences that you guys just want to write. So how did you guys kind of narrow it down to, these first 13 episodes and really kind of pick the stories that you guys wanted to share?
So the question was, how do you guys narrow down the stories? In the writer's room, how do you guys narrow down to 13 episodes?
We actually have a bunch of writers here too, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, when you're first starting out a TV show, you've got to introduce the world beyond just the pilot. So I think the first few episodes were like, how do we show people more of the relationship between the characters? So we did the block party episode to sort of show how the adults react to the neighborhood women, and Lewis again has his series arc. And then we did Success Perm early on, which is typically early to bring in family members. And we did that on purpose because we wanted it to be too early for the family to come visit. Like, they can't wait to get down to Orlando to see them failing. And, and that opened a lot of elements for us too in terms of storytelling, because that's the first episode you see Lewis and Jessica working together. Like, okay, we've got to show them that we're successful here. And so then, you kind of just get led down these paths. And once those stories are sort of unlocked, it's almost like a puzzle, and you're like, okay, so these pieces are now fitting together, and these people are working together in this way, and seeing what the kids are capable of, writing more for them, knowing they can carry more stories. It kind of just opened up for us that way. And then, then you just have to pick the best, most fully formed stories and the ones that are important to you. But like we said, we have so many, there's so many more that we want to tell, because we only had 13 chances. So, yeah.
So as we wrap up, I wanted to go down. I want to ask, I want to pose a question because we have writers in the room. We have Nahnatchka here. So I wanted to ask Jenny and Rex, and then I'll say myself, what is something you would like to see in the future of the Huang family?
Are you asking all of us?
Yeah, we're asking everybody. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Let me think.
Okay, I'm gonna pose mine. Mine. I would like to see Eddie, because so much is about him feeling an outsider. I would like to see Eddie go to some occasion where there's a shit ton of Asians, we did talk about kind of cultural already. Camp or something, or just this thing where he has to deal with
a variety of Asians.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of Asians,
No, that's right. Last time we talked about Love Boat.
Love Boat. I mean, he's a little too young for Love Boat, but something like that,
a couple episodes ago for Fresh Off the Show, I did mention that I would love to see little Eddie meet an Asian American dude MC. Like a rapper.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like someone who's just the dopest MC, but Asian, and he's like, oh my God, who is this man? And he's fresher than me and a little older, and he raps and anyway. That I think funny. We had mentioned that little fantasy a couple episodes ago.
That would be funny if Eddie, I'm just spitballing off your thing. But it'd be funny if Eddie knows who he is, but he's this obscure DJ that only Eddie knows. He's his day job is working in the post office or something.
He's the dopest, son.
Yeah, he's like, God, this guy's a god. And he's like, are you FedExing this? You have to be in that line. You got to go in that line over there. But anyway, yeah, that could be funny.
The room liked it.
Big response.
Can I just ask off of what Phil's saying? It's a lot of people wondering where other kind of Asian ethnicities are in the show, because everybody we've seen who's Asian on the show has been Chinese or supposed to be Chinese, right? And there must be other Asian ethnic families in Orlando. So is that something that the show is going to be teasing out hopefully for season 2 also?
Yeah, I think that would be great to see. I think it would be great to sort of expand the world of Orlando, as we sort of get further out of the cul-de-sac, and into the world, and see who, Eddie meets and the other boys as well. And even, within the school, I think that Principal Hunter, is probably so rattled by every experience he's had with the Wongs that maybe he hires, other ethnicity teachers to come in.
Maybe there's a diversity initiative.
As an advisor for the Pacific Rim Club.
Yeah.
Student affairs, diversity student affairs counselor, maybe.
Rex, you got anything?
Yeah, Rex, anything?
They introduced a character I want to see more of. His name's Oscar Chow.
Yeah! Good answer.
After he gets over his chicken pox.
I also appreciate Oscar, the name Oscar, that it's kind of Latino. Yeah. Just saying. We come in all different shapes, names, and sizes.
You thought Oscar the Grouch was Latino?
Oh, no. Just saying. I make everything ethnic, so.
He's green, but okay.
All right. Josh, you got the last question.
Okay. Well, it actually goes back to what I'd like to see. And there was a little bit of this in this episode. And we saw Lewis and Jessica kiss again. And I love when they show affection to each other. I want to see more of that because we don't see Asian parents showing affection to each other. Yeah. And I know some people criticize, like my parents didn't show affection, but this couple does. So, and I love it.
Awesome. That's cool.
Asian love.
And also, not to give anything away, but in episode 13, there is a pop where there are other, Eddie and the boys are around other Asians as well. So
that's exciting.
It's a fun.
They found some
Hell yeah!
Asian.
All right. There are other Asians.
That's cryptic, but there's more Asians coming.
All right. Well, we've just about run out of time.
Yeah.
We went by real quick, but I want to thank our guests, Nahnatchka Khan and Rex Lee. Thank you. Thank you so much to our studio audience for hanging out here. Our special guests. Special shout out to Visual Communications who host us here, and they run the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival. If you're in LA, come check it out. April 23rd to 30th. Check out vconline.org.
Donate.
Yeah, we'll be back here next week, fresh off the show. Hashtag Renew FOTV.
Yeah.
So
it begins now.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Until next time, stay fresh.
Bye.